Hi and welcome to John's Maths Book. In this video, we'll be exploring another key concept in mathematics. If you find this tutorial helpful, then please show your support by subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. Your positive engagement helps me create more content and allows me to bring you more valuable maths lessons. Without further ado, let's go over to the whiteboard. Let's use triple integrals and cylindrical coordinates to find the volume enclosed between two cones. In this example, one cone is defined by the Cartesian equation where z is equal to 2 minus the square root of x squared plus y squared, and shown in red, and the other defined by the Cartesian equation where z is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared, and shown in blue. The apex of the blue cone is at the origin and on the xy plane where z equals 0, and the base of the red cone is on the xy plane where z equals 0. Both cones are above the xy plane. Let's take a look at the cones in 3D form using a graphing tool. So this is the red cone in isolation, and with this, the base is on the xy plane where z equals 0. And this is the blue cone in isolation, and the apex of this cone is on the xy plane where z equals 0. And if I put the two cones together, we get this structure where the two intersect. And if I limit the structure to where the two intersect, we get this, and we want to find the volume within. Our first step in finding the volume is to convert the Cartesian equations of both cones into cylindrical form. And so the red cone has Cartesian equation where z equals 2 minus the square root of x squared plus y squared. And we need to convert the x, y's and z's into r, theta and z. And to do this, we're going to substitute r cos theta for x, r sin theta for y, and z will remain the same. So z equals z. After making the substitution, we get z equals 2 minus the square root of r squared into the bracket of cos squared theta plus sin squared theta. And using the trig substitution where cos squared theta plus sin squared theta is equal to 1, we're left with z equals 2 minus the square root of r squared. And taking the positive square root, we have z is equal to 2 minus r. And now we need to do the same thing for the blue cone, whose Cartesian equation is z equals the square root of x squared plus y squared. After making the substitution, we have z equals the square root of r squared into the bracket of cos squared theta plus sin squared theta. And using the trig identity where cos squared theta plus sin squared theta is equal to 1, we're left with z equals the square root of r squared. And taking the positive square root leaves z equal to r. To find the volume, we need to integrate over the region which we'll call E, and some infinitesimally small pieces of volume shown here as dv. We need to unpack this and define our region using cylindrical coordinates. This will give us our limits of integration for r, theta and z, and then look at what dv equates to in this context. So let's start with the limits of integration along the z-axis. To help with this, let's limit our structure to show the region of intersection. The best way to think about this is that we are summing infinitesimally small pieces of volume along the z-axis between a function that defines the lower bound and one that defines the upper bound. So as we can see from the diagram, the structure is formed by the upper part of the red cone and the lower part of the blue cone. The lower limit is therefore the function of the blue cone where z equals r, and the red cone forms the upper limit of integration where z equals 2 minus r. If you remember when we looked at volumes using polar coordinates, we multiplied by a height component, which was the difference between the upper function and the lower function. Well, this is essentially the same thing, except we are now using an integral to do this. Moving on to the limits of integration for r, these can be found where the two cones intersect. At this point, a circle is formed, and we can equate the equations of the two cones to find the value of r, which will be the radius of the circle. And so equating the two equations in cylindrical form gives 2 minus r is equal to r. And simplifying this gives r is equal to 1. So the radius of the circle is equal to 1. And so the upper limit of integration for r is equal to the radius of the circle, which is equal to 1. And r begins at the origin of the circle, so the lower limit of integration is where r equals 0. And to find the limit of integration for theta, we need to look at the coverage as r rotates counterclockwise about the circle. As we can see, r goes full circle and therefore rotates the full 2 pi radians, or 360 degrees. So the lower limit of theta, where theta starts, is at 0, and the upper limit of integration is where theta finishes, and in this case it's 2 pi radians. Now we've defined our region using the limits of integration. Let's now unpack what we're integrating, so in our case dv. So dv represents infinitesimally small pieces of volume. We're using triple integrals to sum each of these to get the total volume. Let's look at the dimensions of one of these. If we look at the green shaded region, this represents an infinitesimally small piece of volume dv. We can think of this as a tiny rectangular box where the volume is given by the height multiplied by the width multiplied by the length. So let's apply this to the green shaded region. We can see that the height is along the z-axis, and it's an infinitesimally small piece of z represented by dz. The width of the box lies along the radial distance r and is an infinitesimally small piece of r represented by dr. And the length lies along the arc of the circle and is infinitesimally small. Now the arc length of a circle is given by the radius multiplied by the central angle theta. In this case, theta is infinitesimally small, represented by d theta. If we now put all these infinitesimally small dimensions together, we see that the volume dv is given by dz rdr d theta. And we sum all these pieces of volume using our triple integrals to get the total volume. So now we have our triple integral where we're integrating dz rdr d theta. So let's begin the process of evaluation, beginning with the integral along the z-axis. And so for our first integral, the inner integral, we want to integrate from z equals r to z equals 2 minus r dz. And using the power rule to evaluate this, we get z. And plugging in the limits of integration, we have 2 minus r, which equals 2 minus 2r. And for the middle integral, we want to integrate from r equals 0 to r equals 1, 2r minus 2r squared dr. And evaluating this using the power rule, we have r squared minus 2r cubed divided by 3. And plugging in the limits of integration, we have 1 minus 2/3 is equal to 1/3. And for the outer integral, we want to integrate from theta equals 0 to theta equals 2 pi, 1/3 d theta. So using the power rule to integrate this, we get 1/3 theta. And plugging in the limits of integration, we have 2 pi divided by 3, which is the volume enclosed between the two cones in cubic units.